front has driven such a great race, and since the safety car came out, this race has had his name all over it then. The Cadillac, all new team this season. Malone has got it all right tonight. He wins the Italian Grand Prix. Good afternoon, good evening, and welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to the 6 p.m. tier on the Wednesday evening here in MOR Esports, where you join us for the Austrian Reverse Grand Prix, the second round of this season. Baku then for the first round, and then, of course, now coming here for Austria Reverse, which is honestly a bit of a weird one. Not one that I don't think I've ever commentated before. Of course, I've raced on it in the past, but commentating it is a completely different thing. And honestly, backwards, it is such a fun track to drive. Good to have you on the chat with us this evening then. Scooters TV here. I see a few others as well. Nice to have you all joining us for this 6 p.m. race today. Lunar Eclipse sets the first time in the afternoon with a 106.277. Harvey, second place, 106.3. And I heard some drivers are in the 104s on qualifying time here today. Blake sets a 105.498 on his first run around. 14 and a half minutes to go, and the times are going to start to get quicker and quicker as they go around. As Lawless Fever sets a 105.3. I'm just going to get the website up real quick so I can get the standings and things like that up. Of course, the MOR Esports website, if you aren't on there already, make sure you go ahead and do so. Absolutely brilliant tool to check statistics for the season and things like that. It really, really is. So make sure you get over there and take a look. It is MOR-esports.com and one definitely worth looking into, especially the premium versions, to help the league out massively. But on the last race then, I can see that Lama won from pole. So Lama from pole position taking the win. Lama is here today, but has not yet set a time. Sabin, as we've been speaking, has set provisional pole with a 105.062. Lawless Fever knocked off that top spot and already nearly into the 104s then for the drivers here. We are getting into that territory with 13 minutes to go. Just waiting for that first driver to get us over that line and into the 104s. Sabin in front, and we're going to quickly go down to Lama here. He's a driver I want to see. 19.294 in the first sector. Now making his way into that middle part of the track, all the way up to the top of the hill here, and the left-hand side, of course, reverse track. A bit of a weird one on the camera angles watching this from the wrong way around. As Lama heads down towards the downhill left-hander braking. You have to make sure you get the braking zone right here. It's a pretty tough one to get as Lama does go wide. Somehow doesn't invalidate, and it is not purple then in the first and middle sectors. I was expecting him to get purple potentially from taking pole last week and winning from pole position. Lama then round the final corner and towards the line. Will it be anywhere near pole position? Can it be the first driver into the 104s? So 105.152 for Lama in the Ferrari. And a spectacular effort to kickstart this qualifying session off. He's got Sabin now, though, to bring the fight to him. Sabin in the last race started 4th place on the grid, finished second as Mr. Smits out of nowhere, the first driver into the 104s here in Austria Reverse. 104.7 to beat now as the Audi goes quickest out of everybody. Very quick time indeed. Still 11 minutes to go. A lot of time to go before the drivers are done and dusted with qualifying. Spanak Booth down in 17 has not set a time just yet and looks pretty slow as well, so this won't be a lap just yet as he makes his way around the track. But yes, for commentary today then, everybody, I am, of course, here for the 6 p.m. now, and I think the 8 p.m. might be, it will be JP, sorry, later for the Wednesday evening, as I've got another racing league that I go off and do on the Wednesday nights. But 6 p.m. I should be here every single week as long as you guys keep filling the attendance. The commentator and the tiers will stay. But 18 people, I think it is starting to get Mr. Smith into the wall slightly there in the pit lane. King Fenrir on the track as well, and he's apparently quickest in the middle sector. I'm excited to see where he can get himself here then. King Fenrir in the Williams looking decent. Middle sector showing purple. Round the final turn and towards the line, and it is a pretty long run down towards that line here in the reverse circuit. And in 8th position then goes King Fenrir with a 1 minute 5:09:08 as it stands. Someone in the TikTok says, how can I join? It says at the bottom of the screen, mate. Make sure you get in through the website, and you can get in the Discord server through there. But as I mentioned, definitely worth going and looking at the website. Really, really is good. And fairly new, but it's working brilliantly. As we cross into the 10 minutes remaining of qualifying. And of course we always have it, a short qualifying session and then into a 50% race. Qualifying of course 18 minutes, we are halfway through that now. The race usually, it is meant to be around 45 minutes. It can take between 45 to 50 minutes depending on the situation of course in the race. And that can vary from track to track and tier to tier. We had a very nice race on the Tuesday division, 8 PM yesterday. Always is good with the Tuesday division. And hopefully the Wednesday can deliver today as well. You can never quite tell from the qualifying session, even if the times are close. You never quite know how clean the racing will be. As the Alpine at the back in P18, he has not set a time yet, but will be making his way round to do that very, very soon. Only driver without a time on the track. That's around the final corner. And flat out down towards turn 1 then for the Alpine. What can he do this afternoon? Round the first turn, and he's had the final corner then. Of course, in the reverse orientation for Moleman, who is on his way round for his first time of the afternoon. It will be the first sector coming up. And he's invalidated already. It's invalid lap then for the Alpine. Slowing it down. And that is going to be the end of that one for now, unfortunately, for the Alpine today. Only driver without a lap time and still struggling to get it in. As 8 minutes to go and Saban in second place on the track and getting ready to contest Mr. Smith's provisional pole. Saban braking hard to the left-hand side, brakes well as turns in even better in nearly 4/10 of a second found now in the middle part of the track. It's looking good. It's looking bright for Saban at the moment, but he has to make sure this final braking zone is good. Turns the car in, does go a little bit wide, but maximises the track on the exit. It is flat to the floor for Saban, who's just narrowly misses out on provisional pole again. About 1/10 of a second shy here of taking that pole away from Mr. Smith. Saban can't do anything about it. Lama might be able to, though. He's found 4 attempts at the moment. It won't be enough for pole, but it's going to be very near and could be ahead of Saban here. We're talking about thousandths of a second difference between these drivers at the top. Lama across the line. It's going to be front row of the grid with 7 minutes to go as the Ferrari does improve. A 104.835, and it did turn out to be hundredths of a second between them. I think Lawless Fever just set P6, or it might have been, no, never mind, Blake got us P5, 2.5 cents found. Lawless Fever up by 4 attempts though in the first sector. Now towards the end of sector 2, a lot of drivers then locking up towards that corner there. Flat out though towards the end of sector 2 as he's running his light as a feather on the low fuel mode. Nearly 3/10 of a second up now on the lap overall for Lawless Fever, and this would get him into P4 if he can keep this kind of time up round the final turn. And it wasn't an ideal final corner. He will back out of his lap time then as he messes the final turn up. Lawless Fever across the line will not now improve. As F1 Mikey Boy up to 4th place in the background. And only 4 thousandths of a second difference between him and Saban. The qualifying times at the top are getting closer now between the drivers as Mikey brings the gap down into the 104s for him. The only, 4 drivers in the 104s, and they are the only people in there. everybody else in the 105s, 106s, and also 107s for Adam at the back. For King Fenrir then, P10, and he crosses the line here in qualifying. He does improve by 3.5 tenths of a second and manages to take 8th place here with a nice improvement. Love to see that from King Fenrir. As Greco on the track as well in P12 and Mercedes on his way round. I don't know if this is a lap time or not. It looks like it might be. The Mercedes now down towards the end of Sector 2. And 2.5, nearly 3 tenths of a second found on the lap. From a 105.9. Only a few hundredths of a second between him and Lunar Eclipse ahead as well. Greco now in the Mercedes across the line, trying for an improvement. Where will he get him? It's into P11 for the Mercedes with a 105.6. He does find time, which is all that matters for him. Well, Jack Plays also on a lap in the McLaren. The first sector that wasn't working out the way he particularly wanted it to. We're now down towards the end of Sector 2. We might see if his lap has had a dramatic turn of events. Foot flat to the floor in the low fuel mode still for him now. He is running as light as a feather as well. Nearly 700ths of a second found as well, or just over in the middle part of the track. Now around the final turn, a lot of drivers mess up that last left-hander. Jack Plays gets it absolutely right, and across the line for the McLaren, it's 800ths of a second down, and just shy of an improvement at a higher place on the starting grid. There's a lot of drivers now in the pit lane, a few starting out laps for their final lap times. Only 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Matt Connor's one we want to see. Lawless Fever as well. Luke M's on the track and getting ready for a lap. Lama has just came out as well, as I mentioned, the driver that won the last race in Zandvoort. And I'm just going to quickly look on the website now, as he has, his pace was measured at 9 out of 10. And actually was the quickest and measured the fastest driver on pace in Zandvoort. And that is why he went and took that win. He had 20 battles. He won all 20 battles and made 11 overtakes in that particular race. Battling against Sander, Luke M, Lawless Fever, Jack Plays, Duran, Blake, Deckers, all involved in a battle with Lama in that first race. Looks like we have a good race on our hands as well in this one, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. Still 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go before we get into the main action. And qualifying has to get wrapped up first of all. Lama then round the final turn in the Ferrari. Let's see what he's got in store for us today. He's one of the drivers in the 104s. So 104.835, 200ths of a second slower than Saban here. Not even that really. And doesn't need a lot to get second place and on the front row of the grid. Doesn't even need a lot to get onto that pole position. The drivers in the 104s split between a few hundredths of a second and a few thousandths in some scenarios. There's been a McLaren of Saban who just went around. Lama went past him, and Lama's let his lap slide. Slowed down, unfortunately. Yeah, Lama slows down on his potential, one of his final laps. This is going to be one more lap, I believe, for him, though, with 1 minute and 40 seconds left. He's got time to do it. Got time to go for one more lap, then, of this Austria track, but in the reverse orientation. 1 minute and 30 to go. Lawless Fever on his way round, I believe, has just set an improvement time very nearly into the 1 minute 4s, but it just wasn't good enough then for the Haas here. Luke M round the final turn and across the line here with no battery left. Is this a final run down towards turn 1? I think it is. The Haas on a final run here. Invalidated though, unfortunately, so that's going to be it for him. Mr. Smith is on the track as well. Let's stay with Mr. Smith then in the Audi and see what he's got in store for us this afternoon. as it's provisional pole for him with a 104.794. Looking to be the favourite for pole position so far towards the end of Sector 1 then. And the Mercedes has gone around, and it's Matt Connor retiring on the track. Out of the session here then, and crashing out here in qualifying. Gerv out of the session as well as Mr. Smith then, making his way through the first sector, now all the way down towards the back straight and down towards the flying left-hander. Can Mr. Smith improve on that pole position time? It goes up there on the elevation, then braking hard. Mikey Boy with a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with Adam, as Mr. Smith up by 3/10 on his already magnificent time, and he's about to put some heavy breathing space between him and the guys around him as Lama takes pole by a 104.5. Here comes Mr. Smith across the line to try and take it back away from Lama and Saban, and he does exactly that. A 104.3 now, 0.2 of a second then for Mr. Smith, found over the guys behind, and it's going to be provisional pole for a moment. Retiring is Lama in second place. Saban then in third is going to be complete there, I think, with qualifying, as we've just seen him set a lap. Mikey qualifying fourth at the moment, but has a 5-place grid penalty, so ninth or below for him. Lawless Fever on his final run of the day in fifth then with a 105.0, very nearly into the 104s here. And the final corner comes soon enough. He's running as light as a feather as well. He goes very wide with a low fuel mode on here for Lawless Fever across the line in the Haas. 300ths of a second found, but only fifth at the end. King Fenrir will not be improving. Moleman in 16 around the final turn might be improving here. It's foot flat to the floor, but runs out of battery towards the end of the lap. Here comes the Alpine. It's P16 at the end for him. Mr. Smith won't be on an improvement then. Of course, he doesn't need to, because the Audi has done just enough work to get pole position here in Austria reverse, everybody. Next up's the Grand Prix. Right then, everybody, the Austrian Grand Prix qualifying session has concluded. It's Mr. Smith then in the Audi on pole position by 0.2 of a second over Lama on the front row of the grid. Joined by Saban third, Mikey Boy fourth, but of course he does have a 5-place grid penalty, so starting from ninth on the grid. Lawless Fever 5 then, but obviously all of these people now, between now and ninth, will be a place up. Blake 6, Luke M 7, Spanang Spoof 8, King Fenrir 9, and Matt Connor rounding off the top 10 then. Gerv 11, Greco 12, Lunar Eclipse 13, JF1 14, 15 is Harvey, 16 Moleman, 17 Jack Plays, and Adam qualifying dead last at the back of the grid, everybody. The Grand Prix coming up next. Do not go anywhere, because it should be an absolute cracker of a race. Stick around for the 50% race of Austria Reverse. Well, welcome back everybody. You join us here in Austria for the reverse orientation, and 18 drivers have just qualified for a 50% race. Mr. Smith from the front taking pole position then by a nice little margin, and has got a good chance at winning today, but does have Lamy behind him, the man that took the win from pole last week. Now Mr. Smith's going to have to try and do the same thing, replicate it. We have got rain as well. And not a lot of rain. It should be the intermediate starting tyre. It is. But not full wet here. Only intermediate. It is light rain. So in terms of impacting the pace of the drivers, to be honest, it isn't going to do a hell of a lot. It is raining. But maybe is it set to get worse as the session goes on? That would be quite interesting. Mr. Smith from the front, Adam from the back, and a very different race this afternoon, everybody. 5 lights ahead of the drivers here in the reverse orientation of Austria, the Red Bull Ring. It's 5 lights out and the drivers get away. Mr. Smith then down towards turn 1, has got Lama, the previous winner, already trying to catch him into the barrier for Mr. Smith. What has happened on the start then? Into the wall already for the Audi, and we missed it on the start. Into the wall. Carrying on for the McLaren as JF1 with a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision there. It's a virtual safety car already on lap 1 as Mr. Smith, the pole man, into the wall. JF1 getting penalised left, right and centre as well. Cannot believe the way that has just started. As the possible race strategy on your screen, and it is saying that, rain potentially going to continue all the way through here. What an insane start, everybody, here in Austria. Saban now, who won the last race, isn't really going to have much of a job on his hands. If he has to pace over Lawless Fever, it's going to be an easy win here for the McLaren. But if he doesn't have the pace, then he's got a Lawless Fever to fight back against. As JF1 retires from the session now, what is going on with these guys behind? Matt Connor's out. Drivers retiring left, right and centre. And a safety car deployed. I've got no idea how they retired. It seems like it was a crash, given that the safety cars come out. Full safety car here then, already on the first lap. We have pit stops coming in. MOR Blake now into the pit lane. Mikey Boy in the pit lane as well. Lunar Eclipse, Lama, Harvey. This is all got to be wing damage, surely, coming in this early. It is. Brand new front ends then for a lot of drivers here. There's people coming out. But what an insane start. Absolutely all up in the air here. But Saban from the front. And the man that took pole is now no longer with us in this race today. Honestly, cannot believe the way that has just started. I have not seen the leading driver retire like that in a long time. And what a change of events. Matt Connor, Jay and Mr. Smith all out in the space of a lap. There's Blake now with a 10-second time penalty for a severe collision with Adam. And Adam's out. Or left, sorry. So he is out at the moment. And it feels like he never, ever gets a fair shot of the race. Well, Sabin out in front, and we are still here behind a safety car. I do apologise to everybody who's just joined maybe and wondering why there's no racing action at the start. And it's because the pole sitter, the leader, went into the wall at the very start. And unfortunately, the camera angle robbed us from the shot, as we didn't actually get to see the collision. We just saw the aftermath of him in the wall. And what a shame that is, to be honest, as I'm left feeling like I need answers now. Well, Sabin out in front from Lawless Fever, from Luke M. The two Haas cars coming together as a team here behind Sabin. For a potential to make some noise here. Can they get through when the safety car gets restarted? There should be one more lap, and then we go racing here in Austria Reverse. Already 4 laps in under the safety car. This track is absolutely rapid. The speed that you get round it, how quick it is, of course, anyway, and how short it is. It's insane how quick these laps go by, and that's, of course, why we have 36 instead of a lower number. But we'll just wait, because the safety car will be going in at the end of this lap, hopefully. Well, finally, the safety car in at the end of this lap, and it will be the 5th lap that we go racing here in Austria Reverse. You can see the safety car now has pulled away and getting out of the way for everybody to go racing again. It is a rolling start with Sabin, your leader, who won in Baku last week. He took pole as well, wasn't able to claim that title today. It wasn't Sabin who took pole, sorry. It was another driver, Lima, I think, but we go racing again. Never mind, my bad. Got the stats wrong. Down towards turn 1. Sabin in front, though. He's going to try and make himself a first-time winner this season. There's the two Haas cars behind him coming as a pairing. Spadang Spoof in 4th with a great start from him, then gaining countless places up to 4th from 7th position. Gerv in 5th, then he's up 6 places as well as Draco in 6th. Mikey Boy, who started 9th, is up to 7th, so not a bad start from him so far, as he tries to just make his way through the all, and Lawless Fever as well now. Just gaining on the backside of Sabin, letting him know that he's there. And he will not give Sabin an easy ride here for this race win. Trying to bring the fight to him, but a little bit uneasy on the throttle there, on the rears, and maybe felt like the car was going to go round. Had to sit back and just stop and think for a moment. That costs time, and Sabin is going to be able to run away. These guys need perfect laps here to keep up with each other. Luke M behind his teammate then. Spadang Spoof, we've just got some position changes at the back here as well as Harvey with Lama on the backside. Lama in 9th at the minute, trying to come through in the Ferrari. He started 7 places higher than where he is right now, then 2nd place that would be. Oh, what the inside line for Lama then. He's going to try it on Harvey, who goes wide. The Ferrari just can't squeeze himself past just yet as Lawless Fever and Spadang Spoof both in the pit lane here. He's up the inside line for the Ferrari with a late lunge into turn 1. Through goes Lama, and ahead for a moment, but the Cadillac fighting back, and up the inside gets punted, and very nearly goes around, somehow catches the car. The Ferrari does easily get past, and Harvey now down to P7. But Saban doing a great job, and 30 laps to go in this race. He is looking the favourite for the win. Not really making many mistakes. Luke M is already dropping back. Of course, his teammate was the man in front, Lawless Fever, but I'm sure that gap has got bigger anyway. Gerv in third, Mikey Boy in four now. He's 5 places up from the start and starting to catch the guys in front. As in the pit lane for Gerv, and that is going to mean Mikey goes through. Pit stops coming in, of course, because it has gone dry. Let's just have a look at the tyres now. Luke M still your leader. He is on the intermediates. The leader, Saban, the old leader now, who's in the pit lane, has gone on to the hards, as well as Gerv. Moleman coming in for some tyres as well, and as well as Greco in there. Adams finally joins back, who does find himself back at the grid, but he isn't actually as far back as you'd maybe assume, and has got a chance of getting back into this session. I've got to say, it's not all looking bad at the minute. Well, F1 Mikey Boy then is the driver in front in the Ferrari. Then from Luke M, second place in the Haas. As we head down towards the final corner and up towards turn one. He's on the intermediate tyres and somehow still continuing on. 8/10 of a second behind. Lama is catching at a rate of knots though, and he's on the hard tyres. Right on the rear end of him, and he's been on these slicks since the safety car went away. Now up the inside line, through goes Lama, and both Ferraris, 1 and 2. F1 Mikey Boy here has had the strategy absolutely perfectly executed at the moment. He is the leader, and at the minute on his way to a decent race if he can keep it up like this. What a turn of events then for the Ferrari of F1 Mikey Boy. Lama then second place here. Luke M third. Of course, on the intermediate wet tyre. Harvey then in 4. We have got the old race leader, Saban, down in 8. And of course, there is the tyre offset, which Saban will have the advantage on. But still, Mikey Boy's done him on strategy. And the guys that went in the pit lane during the safety car period earlier on are now really raking in all of the rewards, as they are your leaders as it stands. Mikey, who had a 5-place grid penalty, will lead from his teammate, who is starting to catch up now on the backside of him. And now trying to go up the inside line for the Ferrari. Lama has managed to strike on his teammate. Through he goes now into the lead. Mikey Boy will have to settle for second place 9 laps in. Still a long way to go in this race. Mikey's not going to go down without a fight, though, in the Ferrari, and he is going to start to catch up on Lama. He looks for a move, potentially to the outside, but knows it's not going to work just through there. Will keep himself involved, though, right behind and updated on all the tracks of Lama. See if he can find his way back through past his teammate tonight. He's keeping within a really good distance, but at the minute, not close enough to make a move and pounce on him. Blake not too far behind Harvey as well in third. And the Red Bull just starting to catch up. It's around the outside for Harvey then. Into third. Blake now in fourth place. Can he try and catch him for it? It's contact and sending that Cadillac round then. The Red Bull continues on. Harvey somehow catches the car and will carry on too. But Blake now with the advantage continuing on. And Harvey will have to try and catch up after Blake punting him from behind. And to be honest, it looks like Blake should have let him go there. But it's not what happened. Blake continued on and Harvey's going to have to try and fight his way back through. Well, on board with Harvey in the gap. 7/10 of a second between him and Blake at the minute. And is actually getting bigger and bigger. So Blake has got an advantage here. It might be wing damage potentially for Harvey. Try and get a look at it when it goes to the front. Let's have a look. It might be on the right-hand side, actually. There's Luke M and King Fenrir change places. Here we go. Spadang smooth on the backside of King Fenrir, runs it a bit wide, but actually gives him a bit more room here to try and make that overtake, catching the Williams down towards the final turn. And it might be a move to the inside here, barely any battery left. The Racing Bull makes a confident dive, tries to get his car in front and through, just not enough there to get through past King Fenrir. Just trying to fight back his Padang Spoof. It might be to the outside here. Can't do it. Switching back underneath. Would be a beautiful overtake if he did, but Spadang Spoof just struggling to get through right there. Now on the side and on the power, on the battery to get through past the Williams. Braking later and into P10 goes Spadang Spoof. He runs it wide and now King Fenrir coming back at him into P10. Manages to get back in front. Just trying to keep himself and his head above water. Well, 13 laps in at 36, an enjoyable race, so far. As the two Ferraris at the front and quickest drivers here so far. They're doing very well indeed. And can it be their race? Can they win it? You never quite know how it's going to change. The chat's very quiet tonight. It's a shame. It is a shame. I mean, the 6 PMs don't really get as much following as maybe the other ones tend to do. These guys battling along then. King Fenrir around the outside of Gerv there, his teammate. He's gone through now into P10. King Fenrir now does go into the pit lane here. And the hard compound tyres of 8 laps coming off. It might be front wing damage pretty bad. It is. That's why he's in. I was going to say, because his tyres should be absolutely fine at the moment. It is the front wing that causes him to come in early. Comes out of the pit lane in P14 now. And P14 will be back at the grid. Lunar Eclipse, Matt Connor, Jay and Mr. Smith all out of tonight's session. 14 remain. As the Ferraris 1 and 2, and a big gap between them of 6.2 seconds. Blake then running in third and on the podium. Harvey 4, Saban catching him in 5. And he is on the younger tyres as well, so should really be able to get through very soon. He is catching. And here comes the McLaren with a move to the inside. Through he goes on the Cadillac, and into fourth goes Saban as he's got 2.9 seconds now to catch up on Blake in front. And that will give him a podium place when he gets there. Oh, Molman retires. And a virtual safety car has been deployed. No full safety car as of yet. But Molman out in the Alpine. And that leaves us with 13 left in the 6 p.m. tier here on Wednesday. And it's Lama out in front, who won last week, took pole last week, is now trying to do the same thing in terms of the win today. The VSC gets away, and we are racing again at full speed. And Lama just doing exceptionally well. No one really that close to each other at the minute. These guys potentially, Gerv and Spadang Spoof, might see something between these. It's lap 16 now at 36, 20 laps to go of racing. We've had two virtual safety cars really, and one full safety car. Round goes Gerv and slows down a lot. I'm not too sure why, but does slow the car down a hell of a lot. Now back and racing at full speed. Jack Blazer has managed to catch up on him a lot, and nearly within a second of him now. As the gap coming down, 1.063. Oh, hang on a minute. Gerv has gone around again. Seems to be really struggling here. I don't know what it is. His tyres are only 9 laps old on the hard as well. They should be holding together okay. Gerv struggling with the grip and goes round 2 times in a row. As Blake has got Saban catching him, and this is probably something we ought to be watching for a moment. Only 4/10 of a second now between Saban and Blake. And the gap coming down at a rate of knots then. Lap 17 here. And the McLaren doing what he can to get in front of Blake. Not just this lap, but is bringing the gap down. But Blake as well. On Mikey Boy then, everybody. A move on the way to be made here for the Red Bull, but actually the McLaren might get there first. Here comes Saban onto the outside. Blake as well on the inside of Mikey Boy, and they both make contact, and round goes the McLaren as well. Into the wall then for him. Mikey goes around, into the wall, there is the last car, into Mikey Boy. Lawless Fever crashes out of the Grand Prix, and that fully warrants a safety car. Somehow Mikey Boy gets a 10-second time penalty for that as well. Absolutely not his fault, but he retires at the end of it. And a safety car comes out, everybody. After a crazy, crazy collision, it's Mikey Boy and Lawless Fever who both are out of this session, and a full safety car deployed because of it. And Lama in front still. What a turn of events that was. On lap 18 of 36. We're halfway through the race now. Well, pit stops are coming in, and Llama, as your leader, has come out on new hard compound tyres. Blake on the mediums, Saban on the hards, Harvey on the mediums, Luke M on the mediums, Spadang Spoof then on the mediums here, Greco on the hards, on the old hards at the minute, and does continue, never mind, doesn't continue, doesn't continue on, sorry, goes into the pit lane and gets on the new tyres. I got a bit confused because it is reversed there. That's the new hards for Adam as well. Adam continuing on today, and good to see him doing well at the minute in tonight's Grand Prix. 19 laps in, a 36, and it's been a crazy race at this moment in time. I'm going to quickly check the chats and just see what is going on in there. If people are in the chats, then let us know, and let us know who do you think is going to win this race. Because Alpine says, I've switched over to Twitch to keep you company. I think Saban has a shot at P2. Absolutely. Good to see you in the chat, mate. Nice to have some people joining us then this afternoon. And the second safety car of the day here. But of course, full dry conditions, which is different from what we had earlier on. There's a few people in the TikTok as well. 17 sat in the TikTok at the minute. If you haven't followed the TikTok account, make sure you do. We are now on 3,800 followers on the TikTok, and about 200 more before you reach that 4,000 goal, which would be insane. As Adam says, fun fact, JT, it's the only division I have finished a race and scored a top 10 in. Well, fair enough. Well done, mate. And hopefully today can go just as good. As Lawless Fever says, that was the biggest jump scare thing I've ever had. It was a jump scare to me as well. You came out of nowhere. Of course, Mikey wasn't happy, retired on the track after getting a 10-second penalty, which wasn't really his fault. Of course, it would probably go down as Lawless Fever's fault, but, you know, you can't really expect him to avoid that on the blind corner coming round, and Mikey just sat on the track. But a safety car here, and it should be going in hopefully at the end of this lap, and we can go racing again. Well, 21 laps in, and honestly, if we had a replay system here, I would absolutely love to use it, because I'd love to show some of you guys that maybe didn't see what happened earlier on what happened, because it was just insane. Complete mess. And someone said, what happened? I couldn't tell you. I can't remember what happened. There was so many drivers involved. It was quite crazy, to be honest. But that's all over with now. And we are preparing to go racing again, everybody, with Llama as your leader. A great ending, hopefully, to this race on the way. The Ferrari from the front, Llama winning last week. He's going to try and do the same again today. He's got a Red Bull of Blake on the backside, and Saban not too far behind that either we go racing again here in Austria reverse. And it's Lama then racing down towards turn 1, trying to hold his lead, which he has done very well. Behind that, then it's already starting to be carnage. Harvey up the inside. Spadang Spoof now gets involved in the racing bull. And into 5th he goes. Luke M now with Gerv in P7 behind him, trying to bring a bit of pressure. And Luke M might be trying to get past as well. He does get through past Spadang Spoof. What a move there for Luke M into P5. And gets in front then for him. As it stands, love to see that from him. Lama, though, with a great start for him. Blake and Sabin in P2 and P3. If these guys all battle away and through this, it's going to help Lama pull away with it. Sabin has got Harvey as well. He potentially might start to catch on the rear end of him. Locking up now for the drivers in towards the left-hander and onto the back straight as we are going to go flat out then on lap 22 down towards the line. With Lama around the final turn, locking up again. And up towards the start, finish straight. Lap 23 beginning here. At the minute, Lama looking good, but only 3.5 tenths of a second between him and Blake. Blake not being able to make any proper moves just yet. Then from Sabin in 3rd. The podium looking good, but Blake does have a time penalty, and as well as a few others at the top. And that is going to cause some problems in their race when they cross the line later on. It's Luke M catching Harvey. Spadang Spoof catching Luke M. Yellow flags on the track at the minute. Oh, it does say at the top that not actually there, unfortunately. Honestly, the glitches in this game need to get sorted out. Gerv goes wide and gets himself back on. Might lose a bit of time here to the man in front of Greco, who's starting to pull away. Down towards turn 1 with the leading drivers, and Blake's still getting close, but he's just not close enough to make any proper moves just yet. It's Gerv now with a 3-second penalty for corner cutting. Of course, that would have to be 3 warnings to get a 3-second penalty, and then another 3 to get another one, and it keeps building and building and building. As out with a 3-second time penalty as well. Time penalties are starting to rack up now across the grid. As certain drivers getting multiple. Well, Lama ahead, and Blake and Sabin are battling away, and because of this battle, it's helping the Ferrari find his groove in front and pull away from the rest of the pack behind. Can Sabin get his move done and dusted through past Blake soon, though? That's what he needs to be doing. That's what he's hoping to do. As he goes flat out, foot flat to the floor now, the inside line of Blake. Sabin back into 2nd place, and ahead of Blake finally. He gets the move done. Now on his way to Lama, 0.8 of a second in front. Can Sabin do this here then? As Gerv retires from the session now in the pit lane. Another driver lost in tonight's race. Breaking hard into the left-hander. Everybody tends to lock up into here. A really hard one to get right. The Sabin in 2nd place is going to try and catch Lama. The gap not really coming down as much as we expected it to do. Because Sabin does have a bit of pace here. And he is bringing it down a little bit by bit, chipping away at Lama here. And now only 0.4 of a second behind. He's all of a sudden caught up now in the slipstream. The slipstream incredibly strong when you get close enough. There's a battle of 4 drivers then starting to emerge here. It is Luke M, Harvey, Spadang Spoof and Greycoat all having a bit of a scrap down towards the left-hander. Who comes out on top from this one? Can anybody make a lunge? Might be Harvey here on the Haas then, getting closer for a move, but drops back. Here comes Spadang Spoof to try and do it. He looks for the outside as well, pushes Greycoat off wide. Now he's off the track and nearly in the gravel, has to avoid it with a 3-second penalty from that. And now across the line. Still no changes between these guys. But Lama doing exceptionally well out in front. Sabin is bringing the gap down, and it's now down to 3/10. Well, into the latter stage of this race now, I have to say. And we are seeing the gap just get reduced. This time it'll be 3 attempts when he gets towards the line. And that might be enough for Sabin to make that overtake. The move we've all been waiting for. And across the line, here we go then. 2/10 of a second. Can Sabin bring that gap down in towards turn 1? He can't, but a great place to come back then is this left-hander coming up. And still nowhere near enough to make any drastic impact. As he's keeping really updated with what Lama is up to at the moment. Not letting him escape his sights is Sabin, locking up for the Ferrari. If the McLaren gets the better corner, might be able to catch up a bit on him slightly. And now down towards the final turn. He is very much closer than he ever has been, and he needs a good final corner here. Runs it wide then to get the better exit. Now Sabin on the Ferrari for the race lead, and for the first time today, can the McLaren get round the outside line of the Ferrari? He does, and leads the Austrian Grand Prix. What a drive so far for Sabin, who's up to P1 and leading the reverse Austrian Grand Prix then on lap 29. Lama in second place here. As I mentioned, Lama did win the previous race in Zandvoort, had the fastest pace rating as well, and Sabin finished second place after qualifying 4th in the qualifying session. Sabin today qualifying in 3rd, and at the minute sat in P1. And they're not done with each other yet. Just checking behind, but these guys aren't done with each other just yet. And only 6 more laps. The gap is getting quite large now, actually, between Sabin and Lama. Half a second nearly between them. The Ferrari just bringing it closer. Never mind, half a second back and goes for the move. Lama now into the lead again, ahead. Trying to make it 2 for 2 wins here this season on the second round. Overtakes Sabin for the Grand Prix lead. How long is that going to last for, though? Because Sabin will try and fight it. Doesn't go around the outside line, can't go through just yet. Waits back to start lap 31 when we cross the line now. Saban fighting it then on Lama here in the closing stages of the Austria Reverse Grand Prix and catching up there on the Ferrari. Can it be an overtake to take the Grand Prix lead once again? These guys back and forth all race long, or for the past second half maybe in the race. These guys have been going all at it. Saban now with his chance for a dive, and he just looks for the move. And unfortunately this time doesn't open up for him. He's going to have to settle for second for now as he catches up on the Ferrari, sending it to the inside line. Through goes Saban now into P1, once again leading the Austrian Grand Prix, and Lama's going to have to try and do something about that. Still only a few laps left. The laps do start to tick down now, nearly on to lap 33. That'll give us 3 more. The Ferrari trying to close the gap. The Ferrari on the backside and all the way down towards the left-hander now and onto the main straight. Sand in the chat. Good day. Hello, mates. Welcome in to the stream this afternoon. Only just seen your message. Don't know if you've just sent it or not, but nice to have you with us tonight as we're in the very much closing stages of this race this evening. And the Ferrari of Lama catching up on Saban. They've been going at it all race long. And now this Ferrari might be able to clutch a move on Saban when it comes round to the main straight again. Nobody quite knows who's going to be in front once the checkered flag comes out. And these guys are going to have to decide it between each other. Lama in the same place where he started at the moment. Saban, of course, up 2 places, starting 3rd today. The Ferrari, though, just getting closer here to the leader. 0.2 of a second the gap. And if he can have a good final turn, he will be able to catch up. Now across the line, the Ferrari bringing the gap down. 0.2 of a second between them. Up the inside line for Lama on Saban. Did try it, and in doing that, not successful and loses time to the race leader. Saban here in the McLaren is the hopes and dreams of Lama's 2-for-2 race wins in Baku and now in Austria Reverse. Gonna get crushed by Saban in the McLaren out in front. Lama 0.3 behind. And now on the way to start the penultimate lap then for the drivers. And honestly, I could not tell you who's going to be the leader when they cross the line under the checkered flag. This has been a great battle towards the end of this race then. And Saban keeping it. But the Ferrari just knows that he's got the pace to get in front. He's 0.2 behind, and with some good battery management, it's going to be an easy overtake for him. To be honest, though, if he gets through on this lap, something worries me that maybe it'll give Saban the opportunity to then get through on the final turn. I'm not too sure. We'll find out when they get there. There's battery being used, and a lot more than you'd usually see. Here comes the Ferrari of Lama on Saban. Using a bit more battery than he'd like to, and that is going to really screw him over now as Lama gets in front, but on 30% battery compared to Saban's 70. And we'll have so much more power to use here over the Ferrari, in towards the final turn. Through goes the McLaren. Lama will have to wait back now, and on to the final lap of the race, everybody. Who's going to take the win? Here in Austria reverse then. Last week won by Lama from pole position. Down to second place for him today though. And started second place. Trying to get up the inside of the McLaren already. Still can't do so. Saban holding it out really well in Austria so far. Of course, he finished second place in Zandvoort. Qualifying fourth place last week. Picking up a very nice 28 points to his championship challenge. But of course, he would like to win this one today and take that very well-deserved 35. Lama needs to get past Saban, though, to take this win. And there goes the McLaren. It's a problem for the McLaren. The back end comes out for him and loses places as he gets back on the power. And on the final lap, as an issue arises for the McLaren and makes a bit of a mistake, Lama manages to get through him. Of course, being close enough meant that he could very easily just poach the overtake, get through, post a place, and onto the final turn here in Austria reverse. Our last lap showdown was absolutely brilliant, but won by Lama, who goes 2 for 2 here in the 6 p.m. tier on Wednesday. He wins in Zandvoort, he wins in Baku, and now wins here in Austria reverse. Saban then second place in the McLaren, and Blake comes home for third place and on the podium. Luke M now on the podium in third on penalties. Blake down to 4. P5 Spadang Spoof. Then Harvey 6. P7 Greycoat. 8 will be King Fenrir. King Fenrir 8. 9 will be Adam, who finishes a race here today in the top 10. And Jack plays P10, but P9 on penalties. Well, finishing results, everybody. The race winner, Lama, from the fastest lap. He takes the same fastest lap and most overtakes. Driver of the day goes to Jack Plays, and the cleanest driver is King Fenrir. Here for the Austrian Grand Prix then in reverse. Lama takes the win and 35 points then for himself. It is 2 wins in a row here in the 6 p.m. tier. Saban takes second place. Same finishing order for them since the last round, which is crazy. Are they going to continue this form? Luke M third on the podium. Blake 4, Spadang Spoof 5, Harvey 6, Draco 7, 8, King Fenrir 9, Jack Plays, and Adam in P10 to round off the grid. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me. Really hope you enjoyed the 6 p.m. tier. Make sure you show up for JP later on at 8 p.m. 45 minutes, where he does the 8 p.m. Wednesday tier. Should be even better than this, so make sure you're there for it. Have a great evening, everybody, and good night.